At GDC back in March, Valve announced that the long-awaited Steam controller was going to launch somewhere in November of this year. After reading that, I went on a marathon of research on Valve's recent exploits into PC innovation, the Steam operating system, the Steam machines, and of course the controller. But while all that I learned was very interesting, I couldn't help but notice all the negative comments towards all these initiatives. People that believe these ideas have already failed before they have even launched. Complaints range from the controller being too different, to the Steam OS not supporting enough games, to the Steam machines being too expensive. And the only thing that kept coming to mind was, are you people stupid? Valve, the company hailed for keeping PC gaming alive, is attempting to innovate this market that hasn't seen any change in more than a decade, with some pretty interesting ideas to boot. And the PC players, the so-called master race, the very ones that have been complaining that consoles have been the culprits for the lack of innovation on their platform, see these initiatives and proceed to pummel them to the ground. Now, I don't mean to say that all of you out there belong to the group I just mentioned, and I can also understand some of the points people make against these ideas, but I personally am in full support of them. And so today, I'm going to try to convince you as well. First, I'm going to start with the Steam operating system. Everyone who plays games on Windows knows that it sucks. Aside from Windows and some programs eating a lot of system resources, the operating system itself and the way it works underneath was never made to provide the best experience for games. There's always a lot of code between our games and the machine's hardware that slows the whole process. Not only that, but software-wise it also feels lacking. When nowadays consoles can already seamlessly multitask between games, music, internet and others, it feels kind of silly that I need to go to weird extremes to do something as simple as check a guide online mid-game. Sure, one can all tab out of the game, but it doesn't always work, and trying to have a game open at the same time as another program tends to work quite badly, if at all, even if you have more than one monitor. Valve's already solving the problem with resources by making SteamOS solely for gaming, similar to what happens in consoles. Not only that, but in their current Steam client, they already implement much of the multitasking functionalities I mentioned above, if a little clunky. Add to that the fact that the SteamOS is based on Linux, which is already starting to become a great alternative to Windows, and that it can run any desktop apps that Linux already runs, and basically you get a system for games with no compromises, for free. Now, in its current state the system is still very buggy, and it also doesn't have many supported games, but look at the companies backing it and you can see that it has everything it needs to succeed. Not only that, but Valve listens. When we asked for music in-game, they gave it to us. When we asked for mod support, they delivered. Imagine the potential a system shaped by us gamers could have. A system that, unlike a console, won't need an update in 7 years. It's happening. We just need to support them so that the gaming companies start bringing more games to it. Back when Sony released the PlayStation, they were up against Nintendo, and look where they are now. It's the same deal with Valve. And when Microsoft announces that their biggest change for gaming in Windows 10 is another social media app for games, and the next iteration of DirectX, I lose all hope in their system. So yeah, SteamOS for the win. Now the Steam controller. When I first heard their concept for this controller, I couldn't be more intrigued. A handheld controller that replaces the joysticks with touchpads for even more precision and compatibility with mouse-only games. In my mind, it was a great idea, especially given my concerns about controllers. I, like many others, started gaming on a console, and only afterwards tried PC. But ever since I did, I was never capable of going back to consoles when I wanted to play anything that required any kind of precision. Whenever I pick up a controller, it just feels slow and inaccurate, no matter what amount of sensitivity I use. Yet, I always like to use a controller more than a keyboard and mouse. It's just more comfortable and practical. And being able to just sit back on any comfy chair, in any position I like, just adds to that. With that said, a controller that promises to put more precision in my hands without giving up any more comfort or practicality is a win in my head. Now, if this controller actually delivers or not is something we can only ascertain when it comes out. So until then, we shouldn't bash it. If anything, at least Valve is pushing innovation, something that is surely lacking nowadays, especially on the PC market. and they should be applauded for it, not bashed. Respect, people, respect. Now I just want to quickly mention the Steam machines. Forever since consoles and PCs have matched odds, one of the strongest points supporting consoles was the fact that they were so much cheaper and easier to use compared to PCs.
At $399.
People simply wanted the game and didn't want to go through drivers, updates, or installations, neither the steep price that came with it. But the internet changed the game. Nowadays, consoles also receive updates, they also require some amount of installation, and games not always run as intended. Not only that, but games tend to be more expensive, with even digital releases charging full price. But when you start getting pre-built Steam machines, as small as consoles, that offer a very competitive price, still function as normal PCs, and take care of all installations through the Steam client, that point starts losing strength. Add to that all the advantages of gaming on a PC, adjustable graphics, peripherals, mod support, Steam sales, and many others, and one starts wondering if consoles are still worth it. Now, I still think that consoles have a place in the market. No matter how much we simplify our PCs, we're never going to be able to achieve the level of simplicity and ease of use that consoles have without becoming them. We're never going to be able to just pop the game CD into our PCs and immediately start playing. But at least we now have an easier, cheaper, and more practical way of gaming on PC. So just be happy. And I guess that's it. In the end, I'm just asking one simple thing here. Don't bash it till you tried it. In fact, try and support it. For as much as I know, these products may come out and flop horribly, with bad performance, too many bugs, or bad implementation. But we won't know that until they actually come out. Not only that, but bashing a company for attempting to innovate an industry that has not seen any proper innovation since the release of the Xbox 360 is just idiotic. The gaming industry is going through a gloom period right now, and our last hope, the next-gen consoles, didn't really bring the change we needed. It's a topic I already talked about in some of my last videos, but that also applies here. Making AAA games is getting expensive, and so more often than not, video game developers won't risk trying anything new in fear that they won't see a return on their investment. And it's the gamers that end up suffering, getting their money ripped out of their hands for games that in 7 years or so may not be playable anymore. Just give Valve a chance. If anything, they have earned our trust, and they should be allowed a shot at the gaming hardware market. Who knows? We might have another PlayStation in our hands. Anyway, I'm done. Any comments or suggestions about this video, leave them in the comments. Leave a like and share this video with your game-savvy friends to help me grow the channel. It would really help me out a lot. And as always, subscribe for future videos.